research project, we decided that we wanted to tackle the broad subject of racism in the United States in relation to the class. What is racism? Racism is the belief that some races or nationalities are superior or inferior to others, either morally, intellectually, physically, or otherwise.
We had many goals in researching racism, and some of the questions we wanted to answer were:
what is the general definition of racism?
What forms of racism have been present in the past of our society?
What forms of racism still exist in our society, and why?
What is a healthy attitude to have in regard to racial differences?
Is it possible for racism in our society to be eliminated? If so, how?
We carried out our project by researching for more information relating to our topic and by performing a public opinion survey.
We conducted a survey to gain a better idea of public opinion on racism and to further our research ideas. The following clips show some of our questions and some of the responses that we obtained.
Think of past discriminatory acts in the U.S. What comes to mind?
A lot of hate on African Americans and Middle Easterns and Mexicans.
Jim Crow laws and the sort of civil rights movement.
Civil rights, history of Chinese in this country too.
Discrimination against American Indians.
I'm going to say 3 scenarios to you, and you choose how racist you think it is, or if it's not at all. So the first scenario is: a parent explains to their child the origins of history of a race.
I disagree that it's racist.
Okay.
I suppose knowledge and understanding of where people come from is important.
I'm not sure about that one.
I disagree. That is not racist.
It was found that 73% of the people we surveyed thought that explaining the origins of different races to a child was not racist.
Out of 2 equally qualified applicants for the same job, the person of the less represented ethnicity gets the job.
I would say that's racist. Yeah. Maybe so. Yeah, I think that's racist.
I don't think so. No.
Disagree. Okay.
No.
The majority of the people we surveyed thought that hiring the person of underrepresented ethnicity between 2 equally qualified applicants was racist.
If there was a Japanese-only regiment in the army.
No. I think that's pretty racist.
Yeah, I think so.
62% of the people we surveyed thought that a Japanese-only regiment would be racist.
Okay, I'm going to show you 4 pictures, and if you were told that each of the people represented in these pictures had some connection to 9/11, how strong do you think their involvement would be? So the first one is this picture. Do you think she was strongly involved, neutral, not involved at all, or you don't know?
Mutual, yeah.
Okay.
It's suspicious to me.
I don't know.
The majority of the people wrote that they did not know how strongly involved the woman in picture A was.
Yeah. His facial expression is kind of severe and not too friendly. I'll say yes.
Is it Army General?
You just have to look at the picture and tell me.
Then yes, probably involved.
The majority of people surveyed thought that the man in picture B was involved in 9/11.
Not involved. I don't know. I'm gonna say yeah, he could be.
No, not involved. These are really interesting questions, by the way.
The majority of the people we surveyed wrote that they did not know how strongly involved the man in picture C was.
He seems to be involved. Not sure.
Yeah, involved, I suppose.
The majority of the people we surveyed thought that the man in picture D was involved in 9/11.
Some felt uneasy with answering the question and simply said, "I don't know."
During World War II, Japanese Americans and Japanese immigrants were put into internment camps. Why do you think that the internment of German and Italian immigrants and German and Italian Americans was not as widespread?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I suppose the kind of geographical proximity.
This is true?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
One could immediately tell by looking at the person that the person was Japanese.
They're white. That's easy.
They're white?
That's easy. Yeah, for sure. That's a dominant race, man. You know how it is.
Do you think that racism is still a predominant issue in America?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a dominant, but I mean, I'd say it's pretty high up there, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Can I say mutual?
Yes, I think without a doubt. I think it's still a problem everywhere. I come from London and it's still a problem. We're one of the most culturally diverse cities in the world, and we still have racist attacks.
Whoever you're being racist against does not look like you, so that's ignorance, when you can get to know the person and realize that your basis for racism is just unbounded.
Yes.
I think racism is a problem in San Francisco.
What do you think would help alleviate the issue of racism or address the issue of racism?
There's definitely more that can be done, I think, in terms of kind of educating people.
A person has to want to solve that issue for themselves. I don't think that something outside of them is going to cause them to not be that way.
We talk about it like in an academic sense, but it's not like a real experience. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about like day to day in our
Performing the surveys and interviews guided us and gave us an idea on what to research.
The Human Genome Project has shown that roughly 99.9% of DNA in every person is identical. Human variation is actually only determined by 0.01% of our genetic makeup. A quote that we got from one article on the topic said, "You can find more genetic difference between two Africans than between an African and a commoner from the Outer Hebrides."
Some of our research consisted of looking up information on racial profiling. We found that although it's debated about and many have viewed profiling as racist, especially after 9/11, it is still considered a form of prevention of crimes. One article that we found in our research addressed the idea of colorblindness in children. An experiment was conducted using families and their children in kindergarten. It's discovered that children, when not instructed on the subject of ethnicity, will often come to their own conclusions and categorize people based on physical appearance. As much as people would like to think that it's possible to be blind to ethnicity, this isn't true. Appreciation of diversity should be taught instead of the idea of being blind to differences.
Our topic is greatly related to the class because it deals with a major issue that has been prominent in our country for a very long time. While we often, as a society, seem to forget about our history of discrimination, it is this societal amnesia that holds us back from making progress. We must remember our mistakes and gain tolerance. Because racism is such a sensitive issue, the solutions for it are not clean-cut, but it is important that progress towards reducing racism is made. We suggest that methods of tolerance and appreciation of diversity be promoted, as they seem to be the root causes of racism. We also suggest that personal growth and education need to be promoted in our country, as education often comes with understanding.